Joe Rogan once said, "That's my only goal. Surround myself with funny people and make sure everyone has a good time and works hard." And boy, has he worked hard. The inception of the Joe Rogan Experience, or JRE as we know it, was a humble one. It was a fun project, a casual hangout with his comedian buddies where they could let loose, talk about anything under the sun, and of course have a good laugh. However, the path wasn't always smooth. There were struggles, there were challenges. The initial audience response was mixed. Some loved the unfiltered, raw conversations, others not so much, but undeterred, Rogan pushed on, believing in the authenticity of his concept. He was determined to create a space where conversations were free, unrestricted, and real. And so, what started as a small project soon began to grow into something much larger. As the saying goes, from small beginnings come great things. And the Joe Rogan Experience was no exception. The Joe Rogan Experience, or JRE as it's fondly known, started as a humble podcast in 2009, a time when podcasting was far from the mainstream juggernaut it is today. Rogan, a stand-up comedian and UFC commentator, initially used it as a platform to have interesting and unfiltered conversations with his friends and peers. But soon, the JRE began to gain traction. The variety of guests, the depth of the conversations, and Rogan's unique interviewing style started to draw in more and more listeners. At this time, the podcast was garnering millions of views per episode, with some episodes even reaching the tens of millions. This was a testament to the growing popularity and reach of the JRE. It was like eavesdropping on a conversation between two incredibly fascinating people, an experience that was both enlightening and entertaining at the same time. Then came the big-name guests. Scientists, actors, musicians, and even politicians graced the JRE, adding to its increasing popularity. The show served as a platform for open dialogue on a variety of topics that from the profound to the downright bizarre. One such memorable moment was when Elon Musk, the maverick CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, made his appearance. The episode was a sensation, not just for the insights Musk shared, but for the infamous moment where he puffed on a joint, causing a media frenzy. It was a classic example of the unpredictability and rawness that the JRE had come to represent. Listeners appreciated Rogan's ability to navigate these conversations with a mix of curiosity, humor, and respect. And with each episode, the reach of the JRE expanded, pulling in millions of listeners from around the globe. The podcast was not without its, but Rogan's commitment to open dialogue and his refusal to shy away from difficult topics only added to its appeal. It became a space for conversations that were hard to find elsewhere, making it a standout in the ever-growing sea of podcasts. And just like that, Rogan found himself at the helm of one of the most popular podcasts in the world. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. But as Joe Rogan himself says, "I love a success story, but even more than a success story, I like a dude who have *C up and gets back on it." Now let's talk about a moment that truly tested those words. The infamous switch of the podcast room. To the uninitiated, it might seem like a minor change, but to the legions of Rogan fans, it was a seismic shift. The new sleek, red-lit room turned heads and unfortunately led to a temporary drop in views. The audience reaction was mixed, to say the least. Some fans were intrigued by the change, while others felt a sense of disconnect. But Rogan, being the resilient figure that he is, didn't shy away from the criticism. He took it on the chin, acknowledged the feedback, and used it to refine his approach, because that's what Rogan does. He learns, he adapts, and he keeps pushing forward. But just like a true champion, Rogan didn't let this setback keep him down. Rogan's influence extends far beyond his podcast. He's become a cultural icon, a trendsetter, and a voice that millions listen to. Indeed, the Joe Rogan Experience isn't just a podcast. It's a platform, a stage where discussion, debate, and entertainment intersect in the most fascinating of ways. Let's talk about the impact of the show on popular culture. The Joe Rogan Experience has been a game changer in the realm of podcasting. It's not just about the high-profile guests or the viral moments. It's about the breadth and depth of the topics explored, from the esoteric realms of quantum physics to the gritty realities of mixed martial arts, from the mysteries of the human mind to the complexities of politics. The podcast covers it all. It's like a vast library of human thoughts and experiences, all available at the click of a button. The show has also made it cool to be intellectual. to ponder, to question, to debate. It's reminded us that it's okay to not know everything, but it's not okay to not want to learn. The Joe Rogan Experience has in many ways redefined what we consider to be entertainment. And that's a big deal, not to mention the podcast has democratized the media landscape. It's shown us that you don't need a fancy studio or a corporate giant backing you up to make a dent in the universe. All you need is some curiosity, a willingness to listen, and perhaps a little bit of fearlessness. But the impact doesn't end there. The Joe Rogan Experience has also served as a launchpad for many other podcasts, inspiring a new generation of podcasters to pick up the mic and share their voice with the world. And so, from a humble beginning to a cultural phenomenon, the Joe Rogan Experience to make waves. As Rogan himself might say, it's strange times we live in. And in these strange times, we can't wait to see what Rogan and his eclectic mix of guests will bring to the table next. If you're finding this video interesting, remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more. What started as a simple podcast with friends has now become a beacon for free speech and open discussion. The legacy of the Joe Rogan Experience is monumental, to say the least. It's not just about the millions of downloads or the diverse roster of guests, but about the impact it has had on the world of podcasting and beyond. The show's open and honest approach to dialogue has inspired a whole new generation of podcasters to follow in its footsteps, fostering a renaissance of long-form, in-depth conversation in the digital age. The Joe Rogan Experience has become more than a podcast. It has become a platform for ideas, a hub for debate, and a catalyst for change. And what of the future? Well, with Joe at the helm, the horizon looks bright. This is a man who is never content to rest on his laurels, always looking for the next big thing, the next fascinating guest, the next challenging idea. In the words of Rogan himself, the podcast is a great way to get out there and connect with people. And connect he did, leaving a legacy that will continue to influence for years to come.